What if I told you that something you're probably eating several times a week is quietly damaging the very organ that makes you who you are, your brain? We spend a lot of time talking about foods that are good for brain health: blueberries, salmon, leafy greens, but almost nobody talks about the foods that are actively working against your memory, your focus, and your cognitive function, especially after 60, when the brain is already more vulnerable to damage. In this video, I'm going to name 5 specific foods that most people consider perfectly normal parts of their diet, that research has linked to accelerated cognitive decline, increased dementia risk, and measurably worse memory performance in adults over 60. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 5 foods to eliminate or significantly reduce, why they harm the aging brain specifically, and what to eat instead, because the goal is never just to remove things, it's to replace them with something better. As always, speak with your healthcare provider before making significant dietary changes, especially if you have existing health conditions. Now, before we get to the list, it's important to understand why the brain becomes more vulnerable to dietary harm after 60. The brain is an extraordinarily energy-intensive organ. It uses approximately 20% of your body's total energy, despite being only about 2% of your body weight. And after 60, several things change. Inflammation in the brain, called neuroinflammation, increases. The blood-brain barrier, which protects the brain from harmful substances, becomes less effective. And oxidative stress, the cellular damage caused by free radicals, accumulates more quickly than before. Certain foods dramatically accelerate all 3 of these processes, and the research is increasingly clear that what you eat in your 60s, 70s, and beyond has a profound effect on whether your brain ages with clarity or with progressive decline. Food. Number 1. Ultra-processed foods. Ultra-processed foods include packaged snacks, instant noodles, frozen ready meals, fast food, mass-produced bread, and most breakfast cereals. What they have in common is that they contain very little real food. Instead, they're made from industrial ingredients, refined flours, added sugars, artificial flavors, and preservatives. A major study published in JAMA Neurology in 2022 followed over 10,000 adults and found that those who consumed the most ultra-processed foods showed 28% faster cognitive decline and 25% faster memory decline compared to those who consumed the least. Why? Ultra-processed foods are pro-inflammatory. They disrupt the gut microbiome, which has a direct communication pathway to the brain called the gut-brain axis. They spike blood sugar rapidly, and they are almost completely devoid of the nutrients the brain needs to maintain and repair itself. Food number 2, trans fats and hydrogenated oils. Trans fats, found in some margarines, commercially baked goods, fried fast food, and anything labeled partially hydrogenated oil, are some of the most damaging substances to the aging brain. A study published in Neurology found that people with the highest blood levels of trans fats had 75% more cognitive decline over a 10-year period than those with the lowest levels. Trans fats promote inflammation throughout the body and brain, damage the walls of blood vessels, and reduce levels of a brain chemical called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is essential for learning and memory. Check the ingredient lists on packaged foods. If you see the words partially hydrogenated, put it back on the shelf. Food. Number 3. Sugary drinks. This includes sodas, sweetened fruit juices, energy drinks, and even many sweetened coffees and teas. Not because sugar in general is inherently evil, but because liquid sugar is processed by the body in a uniquely harmful way. Liquid sugar bypasses many of the body's satiety signals and causes rapid, dramatic spikes in blood glucose. Over time, repeated blood sugar spikes damage blood vessels, including the tiny capillaries that supply the brain with oxygen and nutrients. Research from Boston University School of Medicine found that people who drank sugary beverages regularly had smaller overall brain volume and significantly worse memory compared to those who didn't. The brain is extraordinarily sensitive to blood sugar fluctuations, and after 60, those fluctuations cause damage that compounds quietly over time. Food. Number 4, excessive alcohol. This one requires nuance, so please hear me out. Light to moderate alcohol consumption, 1 drink per day for women, up to 2 for men, has shown mixed results in research, with some studies suggesting mild effects in either direction. But excessive alcohol, more than 14 drinks per week, is clearly and consistently harmful to the aging brain. Alcohol is directly neurotoxic in high quantities. It depletes thiamine, which is critical for brain function. It disrupts sleep architecture. It causes measurable brain volume loss. And after 60, the brain is significantly more sensitive to alcohol's effects than it was at 40. If you drink, moderation is key. And if you notice memory or focus issues, it's worth having an honest conversation with your doctor about your alcohol consumption. There is no judgment here, only information. Food number 5, high sodium processed meats. Deli meats, hot dogs, sausages, bacon, and canned meats are typically high in sodium and preservatives called nitrates. High sodium intake raises blood pressure, and sustained high blood pressure is one of the leading risk factors for vascular dementia, which is caused by reduced blood flow to the brain. A study published in the journal Stroke found that dietary patterns high in processed meats were associated with significantly higher rates of dementia and cognitive impairment in adults over 65. This doesn't mean you can never have bacon again. It means making processed meats an occasional choice rather than a daily habit makes a real difference to your brain over time. Now, what to eat instead? Because removing something without replacing it rarely works long term. The Mediterranean diet and the MIND diet, which stands for Mediterranean-Intervention for Neurodegenerative Delay, have the strongest scientific evidence for brain protection in older adults. The key foods: leafy green vegetables like spinach and kale, at least 6 times per week. Berries, especially blueberries and strawberries, at least twice per week. Fatty fish like salmon, at least twice per week. Olive oil as your primary cooking fat. Walnuts and almonds as daily snacks. Whole grains, and beans and legumes regularly. These foods reduce neuroinflammation, protect blood vessels, provide essential brain nutrients, and support the gut-brain connection. You don't have to change everything overnight. Start with one swap. If you drink a soda every day, replace it with sparkling water with lemon. If you eat packaged snacks daily, replace them with a handful of walnuts. Small, consistent changes compound over months into real protection for your brain. Your brain is remarkable. It has the ability to form new connections and repair itself, a quality called neuroplasticity, even in your 70s and 80s. What you eat is one of the most powerful tools you have to support that process. If this video was helpful, please subscribe to Vital After 60. We publish new videos every week on the health topics that matter most to people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. And leave a comment below. What was the most surprising food on this list? We love hearing from you. Take good care of your brain. It is the most important organ you have.